In this section, we're going to cover the various tools that you can use to kind of practice prompt engineering, the tools that you can use, not even just to practice, but to actually use models with, the prompting skills that you've picked up. So there are really kind of four classes of tools, and we'll kind of get you up to speed with the most popular for each one of those categories. And the first one is, of course, going to be the most popular. This is, far and away what most people use to interface with AI models, which is the AI chat apps from kind of all the major labs. So this is going to be ChatGPT, this is going to be Claude, and this is going to be Gemini. So yes, you may be a user of, a third party chat app, right? Like one of the tools that if you've taken other courses on Takeoff, you may be familiar with is something like Perplexity, right? That's kind of the search based AI chat app. But the point here is that kind of the three main labs really right now are ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini. We'd also probably throw Grok in there, but some of the apps around Grok and what XAI is doing right now are still a little bit new. So definitely, if that's your preferred interface, go use the Grok app. That's great. All of the things that you learn here with the prompt engineering course, you can use that in Grok. Okay, you can use this in any sort of app that you're interfacing with an AI model. Right? So we're just kind of covering the main three, right? Most of you will actually probably just be using ChatGPT and Claude. That's overwhelmingly, as we talk to you guys, what you're using. But any one of these three, or if you prefer one of the other ones like Grok, Perplexity, or what have you, maybe you even built your own. There's also a lot of really good third-party chat apps. But this is, again, this is where most people on a day-to-day basis are interacting with AI models. They're great because they're general purpose. That they're not meant for a specific task. They're meant to be very broad, very general. And the point is that, whatever prompt you enter into these apps, you're going to be able to get some sort of a response back. So I do want to talk about a couple things though with AI chat apps, a few kind of asterisk type items, especially when it comes to prompt engineering practice in particular. So what you have to understand with Claude and Gemini and ChatGPT is that you're not interfacing directly with the underlying model. So if I switch this to GPT-4o here in ChatGPT, one of the things that's happening under the system, kind of under the hood, when you're interacting with these models directly on their actual chat apps case, so the same thing applies for Claude, right? If I'm using Claude 3.5 Sonnet or GPT-4o, what's happening is each one of these AI labs actually has their own system prompt that is sort of injected under the hood on top of this. Like a really good example of this is if I actually pull in one of the really cool things that Anthropic does is they actually open source their system prompts. So if you go to this, we'll have this link for you below. But if you actually go to this link and you click on, this is apparently the latest Claude 3.5 Sonnet prompt, this entire thing you see here is the system prompt for Claude 3.5 Sonnet. So what's actually happening under the hood if, for example, you send a message to Claude, is this system prompt is getting used in conjunction with whatever message that you send to Claude, okay? And the same thing is happening for GPT-4o here, but with whatever system prompt that OpenAI has, okay? The reason this matters is because it's going to affect the results you get back with your specific prompt compared to, say, something like the Playground, which we'll talk about in the next lesson, or even just sort of the raw API. So the main point that I just want to convey here with the chat apps is obviously, feel free to use these to do your prompt engineering practice. Feel free to do your day-to-day work here. I know, personally, I use the Claude app all the time. Claude 3.5 Sonnet is my personal favorite sort of quote unquote regular model. And then I also use ChatGPT. I use O1 Pro very heavily. It's my favorite reasoning model. And I even use Gemini The 1.5 Flash model is my favorite Flash model. Kind of an interesting thing. What we won't talk about this too much, but we'll have a separate lesson for models. But it's kind of cool that sort of all three kind of main categories of model, the fast model, the regular model, and then the reasoning model, actually have a different favorite model for each one that is made by a different lab, which is kind of a cool place that we're in. One of the great things about AI models right now is we just have so many options. But the point is that when you're testing your prompts in the AI chat apps, you are going to have some sort of a system prompt that the AI lab that created the app has in conjunction with your prompt. So you're going to get more reliable results, especially when you're trying to kind of A/B test different prompts and you're trying to tweak different things. You're going to get a better testing environment if you use something like a playground, which is primarily what we're going to be using just for our own testing purposes in this course as we kind of write our own prompts here. But again, feel free to use whatever you want. It's not going to drastically impact things. But the thing that I would recommend is if you're following around along with this course and you're willing to pay a little bit in API credits, I would recommend following along with us in the OpenAI playground, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in just a sec here. But if you're a paid subscriber to Claude or something, and you just want to use Claude 3.5 Sonnet or whatever model within the Claude app to do your prompt engineering practice here and get up to speed, it's going to be great. Okay. So you don't need to sweat it too much. I just wanted to add a little bit of color there because I think that's something, especially for the newer people, that's not incredibly obvious. So just wanted to flag that. And now let's talk a little bit more about playgrounds.